Chapter-0 welcomes you. Chapter-0 Comprehensive Summary of Anna Karenina by Leo Tolstoy. Title: Anna Karenina. Narrator: third-person omniscient narrator. Year published: 1877, serialized from 1873 to 1877. Anna Karenina is a vast, psychologically rich novel that explores the lives of dozens of characters in Imperial Russia during the 1870s. Tolstoy structures the book around two primary narrative threads that run in counterpoint to each other. The first follows Anna Arkadyevna Karenina, a beautiful and intelligent aristocrat whose adulterous love affair leads to social ostracism and personal destruction. The second follows Konstantin Dmitrievich Levin, a thoughtful landowner whose journey through marriage, farming, and philosophical doubt leads him towards spiritual affirmation. Around these two centers orbit families, lovers, bureaucrats, peasants, and intellectuals, creating a panoramic portrait of Russian society. The novel examines marriage, family, class, faith, desire, hypocrisy, and the search for a meaningful life. Opening and the Oblonsky household. The novel begins with its famous first sentence: "All happy families are alike, each unhappy family is unhappy in its own way." Prince Stepan Arkadyevich Oblonsky, called Steva, has been unfaithful to his wife, Dolly. He had an affair with the family's former French governess. Dolly has found out and is devastated. She refuses to speak to Steva and is considering separating from him, which would disgrace the family and leave their 5 children in turmoil. The Oblonsky house in Moscow is in complete disarray. To mediate the crisis, Steva's sister arrives from St. Petersburg. She is Anna Arkadyevna Karenina, wife of the prominent statesman Alexei Alexandrovich Karenin. Anna is admired throughout high society for her grace, intelligence, and charm. She is 30, married for about 10 years, and has an 8-year-old son, Seryozha, whom she adores. At the Oblonsky home, Anna speaks to Dolly with compassion and practical sense. She does not excuse Steva, but she convinces Dolly that for the sake of the children and the reality of life, forgiveness is the better path. Dolly relents, and the immediate crisis passes, though the marriage remains compromised. Levin, Kitty, and Vronsky, the Moscow Ball. At the same time, Konstantin Levin arrives in Moscow from his country estate at Pokrovskoye. Levin is 32, serious, socially awkward, and intellectually intense. He manages his land himself and is deeply concerned with the economic and moral problems of farming after the emancipation of the serfs in 1861. He has come to Moscow to propose to Princess Ekaterina Alexandrovna Sherbatskaya, known as Kitty. Kitty is 18, the youngest daughter of a prominent princely family, and Dolly's sister. Kitty is at the center of a social expectation. Count Alexei Kirillovich Vronsky, a wealthy and brilliant officer in the Horse Guards, has been paying her marked attention all winter. He dances with her, visits the Sherbatsky home, and gives every sign that he intends to propose. Kitty's mother, the princess, encourages the match because Vronsky is an excellent prospect. Kitty herself is in love with him, or with the idea of him. Levin proposes to Kitty at her home. He is sincere and passionate, but also blunt and insecure. Kitty, still expecting Vronsky, refuses him. She is gentle but firm. Levin is crushed. He feels he is too plain, too rural, and too serious for her. He leaves Moscow abruptly and returns to the country. The decisive moment comes at a grand Moscow ball. Anna attends with the Oblonskys. Vronsky also attends, officially to meet his mother, who is arriving from St. Petersburg on the same train as Anna. At the ball, Vronsky ignores Kitty completely. Instead, he devotes himself to Anna. They dance together and their mutual attraction is immediate and obvious to everyone in the room. Kitty is humiliated. She sees that Vronsky will not propose and that she has lost Levin as well. She falls ill from shame and heartbreak. Anna is disturbed by the effect she has had on Kitty and by her own powerful response to Vronsky. She decides to cut her visit short and return to St. Petersburg the next day. Vronsky follows her to the station. At the platform, a railway guard slips and is killed by a train. Anna is horrified and calls it a bad omen. Vronsky is there, and the moment seals a connection between them. St. Petersburg, the affair develops. Anna returns to her life in St. Petersburg. Her husband, Alexei Alexandrovich Karenin, is a high-ranking official in a government ministry. He is 20 years older than Anna. He is respected for his integrity and his capacity for work, but he is emotionally cold, pedantic, and entirely devoted to his career and to social propriety. He loves Anna in his own way and trusts her absolutely. He dotes on their son Seryozha. Anna tries to resume her role as wife and mother. But Vronsky has also returned to St. Petersburg and he begins to pursue her through society. He appears at dinners, at the opera, and at the homes of mutual acquaintances. Anna resists at first. She values her family and her position. Yet Karenin's dryness and Vronsky's vitality create a stark contrast. Slowly, her resistance breaks down. Their affair begins. At first it is a secret, but in the aristocratic world of St. Petersburg, such secrets are widely known and tolerated as long as the external forms are observed. A husband may be a cuckold, but a public scandal must be avoided. Anna and Vronsky manage for a time to keep the affair within those bounds. Kitty's illness and Levin on the land. Following her humiliation, Kitty becomes seriously ill. The doctors diagnose a vague nervous condition. Her family takes her to a German spa at Soden for a water cure. There she meets two people who change her. The first is Varenka, a young woman of deep piety who devotes herself to caring for an invalid lady and to works of charity. The second is Nikolai Levin, Konstantin's brother. Nikolai is dying of consumption and lives in squalor with a former prostitute, Moria Nikolaevna. Kitty is initially repelled, then moved by their suffering. She begins to see her own romantic disappointment as small compared to real pain. She matures and develops a desire to be useful. Levin, meanwhile, has buried himself in work at Pokrovskoye. He lives with his half-brother, Sergei Ivanovich Koznishev, a famous writer and intellectual. Levin argues with Koznishev about philosophy and politics, but he finds more truth in manual labor. He goes mowing with his peasants and experiences moments of profound physical and spiritual joy. Yet he remains tormented by the great questions: why do we live, and how should we live? He reads philosophy, rejects the church, and feels close to despair. Confession, childbirth, and forgiveness. Anna becomes pregnant by Vronsky. The reality of the child forces the affair into the open. Anna confesses everything to Karenin. His reaction is not jealous rage but wounded propriety. He is concerned with his career, his reputation, and what people will say. He tells Anna that they must maintain appearances. He will not grant a divorce because it would damage his position and because he believes it is his duty to keep the family intact. He forbids her to see Vronsky, but he cannot enforce it. The situation becomes unbearable. Anna's pregnancy advances. At the same time, Steva Oblonsky asks Karenin to help Levin get a government post, which brings Karenin into contact with that family again. Anna's labor is long and dangerous. She develops childbed fever and nearly dies. At her bedside, Karenin undergoes a genuine religious transformation. He is overcome with pity. He forgives Anna without reservation and he forgives Vronsky. He tells Vronsky that he is the one to blame for being a cold husband. Vronsky is shattered by this unexpected Christian magnanimity. He leaves the house, returns to his lodgings, and attempts suicide. He shoots himself in the chest, but the bullet misses his heart. He survives. Anna recovers. But the moment of spiritual elevation cannot last. Karenin's natural temperament returns. He becomes formal and distant again. He cannot sustain forgiveness in daily life. Anna finds his magnanimity more oppressive than his anger. She cannot live with him. She leaves St. Petersburg with Vronsky and the baby girl, also named Anna, called Annie. She is forced to leave Seryozha behind because the law gives fathers full custody. This separation becomes the central agony of her life. Italy and the return. Anna and Vronsky travel in Europe and settle for a time in Italy. At first they are happy. They are free from society's judgment. Vronsky takes up painting and Anna plays the role of muse and patron. They host artists and live idyllically. But problems emerge. Vronsky is an amateur and his painting does not satisfy him. More importantly, he begins to miss his regiment, his career, and his place in the Russian social world. He has sacrificed everything for Anna. Anna also suffers. She misses Seryozha desperately. She has no legal status. Annie is illegitimate. In the eyes of the church and the state, Anna is an adulteress. She begins to fear that Vronsky will tire of her. She has given up her son, her position, and her good name for him. If he stops loving her, she will have nothing. They decide to return to Russia. They settle at Vronsky's country estate, Vozdvitvensko. They attempt to build a life. Vronsky modernizes the estate and becomes involved in local zemstvo politics. Anna tries to create a home, but she is isolated. The neighboring landowners do not call on her. She is not received in society. Levin and Kitty, courtship and marriage. While Anna and Vronsky are in Italy, Levin's life changes. Dolly Oblinskaya takes her children to the country for the summer at Ergosovo, an estate near Levin's. Kitty, now recovered and matured, comes with her. Levin begins to visit. He and Kitty are both different from when they last met. Their conversations are serious and honest. One day, they play a game of writing words with chalk using only initial letters. Through this game, they confess their love for each other. Levin proposes again. This time Kitty accepts. Their engagement is not simple. Levin is tormented by honesty. He believes he must confess everything to Kitty before marriage. He gives her his diaries, which detail his past sexual relationships and his lack of religious faith. Kitty is deeply hurt and spends a night weeping. But she decides that his honesty is more important than his past. She forgives him. They marry in Moscow. The wedding scene is one of the most famous in the novel. Levin is late and forgets to get a clean shirt. He is overwhelmed during the ceremony. When the priest asks if he will take Kitty, he feels the weight of the vow as a sacred and terrifying commitment. Kitty is radiant. They move to Pokrovskoye to begin their life. Married life and the birth of a son. Levin imagined that marriage would solve all his problems. Instead, it creates new ones. He and Kitty quarrel. They misunderstand each other. Levin is jealous and controlling. Kitty is sometimes frivolous. Money is tight. Levin struggles to manage the estate and to find his place in the zemstvo. Kitty becomes pregnant. As her time approaches, Levin is filled with terror. He cannot bear the idea of her pain. When labor begins, he is helpless and prays for the first time in years, though he does not believe. The birth of his son, Dmitri, transforms him. He is overcome by a feeling of tenderness and by the mystery of life. For a brief period he believes in God. But soon his doubts return. Anna in society, snubs and desperation. Anna and Vronsky move to Moscow to pursue a divorce. Anna wants to legitimize Annie and to marry Vronsky so she can re-enter society. Vronsky uses his connections to advance the case. Steva Oblonsky tries to help his sister. He speaks to Karenina and urges him to agree to a divorce on the grounds of adultery. This would free Anna to remarry and would not damage Karenina too badly. Karenina is now living with Countess Lydia Ivanovna, a religious and mystical woman who has become his spiritual advisor. She has also taken charge of Seriozha's education. Lydia Ivanovna convinces Karenina that suffering is his cross and that he must not divorce Anna. She believes God wants him to remain married. She intercepts letters and controls access to Karenina. Under her influence, Karenina refuses the divorce. Anna becomes increasingly desperate to see Seriozha. On the boy's birthday, she goes to Karenina's house in secret. She bribes servants and gets into the nursery. She wakes Seriozha and they have a few minutes of intense, joyful reunion. Then she is discovered. Karenina is not there, but Lydia Ivanovna arrives and expels Anna. Anna leaves in anguish, knowing she may never see her son again. Anna's position in society becomes impossible. She goes to the theater and is publicly snubbed by her former friends. The hypocrisy enrages her. These same women have affairs, but they condemn Anna because she left her husband and did not hide it. Vronsky can still go everywhere. He is invited to dinners and clubs. Anna is confined to the house. She begins to take morphine to help her sleep and to calm her nerves. She grows paranoid. She reads Vronsky's moods and suspects him of wanting to leave her. The quarrels and the end. Vronsky is elected marshal of the nobility in his district. He becomes absorbed in local politics and in a project to improve peasant life. Anna feels abandoned. She believes his work is an excuse to get away from her. She demands constant reassurance. Their life becomes a cycle of quarrels and reconciliations. Anna is convinced that Vronsky is seeing other women, especially a young Princess Sorokina whom his mother favors as a suitable wife. One day Vronsky goes to his mother's estate. Anna is certain he has gone to meet Princess Sorokina. She sends him a telegram demanding he return immediately. He replies that he cannot. Anna is in a state of nervous collapse. She decides to go to him. She goes to the railway station. At the station, she is in a frenzy of jealousy and despair. She remembers the death of the railway worker on the day she first met Vronsky. She thinks of how Vronsky will be free after her death, how he will regret her, and how she will punish him. In a moment of overwhelming anguish, she throws herself under an incoming train. Aftermath. Vronsky is destroyed by Anna's suicide. He is filled with remorse. He can no longer bear life in Russia. A Slavic committee is raising volunteer forces to fight the Ottoman Empire in Serbia. Vronsky gives money and joins the detachment, seeking death in battle. He leaves Annie in the care of Karenina, who has finally agreed to take her and raise her as his own. Karenina has been changed by the tragedy. He is now a broken but more human man. Steva Oblonsky manages to get a lucrative position on a railway commission. His marriage to Dolly continues. It is not happy, but it is stable. Dolly is worn out by childbearing and Steva's continued infidelities, but she accepts her life. She visits Anna's grave and pities her. Levin's revelation. After Anna's death, the novel focuses on Levin. He is in a state of deep depression. The birth of his son gave him a moment of faith, but it did not last. He is tormented by the question of meaning. If life ends in death, what is the point of work, family, or morality? He thinks about suicide and hides ropes and guns from himself so he will not be tempted. One day he is talking to a peasant, Fyodor, about a difficult laborer. Fyodor says that the man lives for his belly, but another peasant, Fokanich, lives for his soul and remembers God. This simple statement strikes Levin like lightning. He realizes that he has always known the answer. Reason cannot prove God or the meaning of life. But all people, including himself, live by certain unspoken moral laws. They know what is good. They live for their children, for goodness, for God, even if they do not admit it. Levin understands that he must stop demanding a rational proof and must simply live rightly. He looks at the sky and feels a deep peace. He knows he will still doubt, still sin, still be irritable with Kitty. But he now has a foundation. The novel ends not with a conclusion, but with a beginning. Levin has found his way to live. Themes and analysis. The nature of love and marriage. Tolstoy presents many kinds of unions. Steva and Dolly show a marriage sustained by habit and children despite betrayal. Karenina and Anna show a marriage destroyed by lack of love. Anna and Vronsky show passion destroyed by social pressure and personal insecurity. Levin and Kitty show a marriage that succeeds through work, forgiveness, and shared moral growth. Tolstoy argues that real love is not romantic ecstasy but ethical commitment. Social hypocrisy. The novel is a fierce critique of aristocratic society. It allows men like Steva and Vronsky to have affairs with no consequence. It destroys Anna for the same sin because she refuses to be a hypocrite. Countess Lydia Ivanovna's false religiosity is contrasted with Levin's hard-won faith. The individual and the land. Levin's story is about the Russian intelligentsia's relationship to the peasantry. Levin finds truth in physical work and in the wisdom of peasants like Fyodor. The city is a place of lies, debt, and adultery. The country is a place of reality and spiritual possibility. Free will versus determinism. Anna often feels she is driven by fate. She sees omens and believes she has no choice. Levin chooses to believe in free will and moral responsibility. The novel suggests that we create meaning through our choices. Faith and modernity. Written in the age of Darwin and scientific materialism, the novel grapples with the loss of traditional faith. Levin's journey from atheism to belief is not based on dogma but on the lived experience of goodness. Tolstoy offers a Christianity stripped of mysticism and focused on ethics. Style and structure. Tolstoy uses a third-person omniscient narrator who moves freely into the minds of all characters, from Anna to a peasant mowing hay. The novel alternates between the two plots, creating a deliberate contrast. The Anna plot moves from light to darkness, from the ball to the railway. The Levin plot moves from darkness to light, from despair to the sky. The structure itself enacts Tolstoy's moral argument. The novel is famous for its psychological realism. Tolstoy shows the minute shifts of thought and feeling. He describes childbirth, mowing, a horse race, and a political meeting with equal detail and intensity. He includes long essays on agronomy and politics because he believes that daily life and ideas are inseparable. Final thought. Anna Karenina endures because it refuses easy answers. Anna is not simply a fallen woman, and Vronsky is not simply a villain. Karenina is not simply cold, and Levin is not simply heroic. They are all human, complex, and flawed. Tolstoy's genius is to show that the way we live, in our families and in our work, is the ultimate moral question. Anna chooses death when she cannot find a way to live. Levin chooses life, even with doubt. The novel leaves us between those two choices.